Hello and welcome to the part 2 of my Christmas hiking adventures over 3 of the New Zealand Great Walks. Today I'm going to talk about the Milford Track. So the next morning I caught a ferry to a rather remarkable first section of Milford Track and really enjoyed the emerald colors of Clinton River and a little sidewalk to the bog with sand dunes and mosses. The highlight of the day was seeing glowworms near the Clinton Hut, of course. The second day was challenging. Not only it was long and had a bit of an uphill, but it was raining continuously for at least 4 hours of hiking. Apparently there is a difference between knowing that Fiordland gets 6 meters of rainfall a year and reconciling with it. Admittedly, the views were as dramatic as advertised, and some of the flora and fauna were quite special for that place. I was also quite impressed by the waterfalls that were streaming down from the skies above every 100 meters or so. There were also multiple side tracks that would lead you to hidden lakes at the bottom of multiple waterfalls that you could come up to and have a lunch and have a look at all of those dramatic waterfalls falling everywhere from those dramatic cliffs. I have to admit though, it is only as wet as you get from your own sweat and the rain on the outside before you start passively aggressively stomping on the ground and dreaming of nothing but a hot cup of soup. However, there was a bus stop shelter that really cheered me up. I humoured to myself that if you wait for bus in here for long enough, the bus will eventually come after you. After an extraordinarily long last mile that felt like 3 miles, we have finally arrived to the Mintara hut that was rather outdated, but I did not care because it had fire and warmth and hot soup, and that made me happy enough. The next morning I was lucky enough to spot a rare New Zealand endemic blue duck near the Mintara hut. I also glanced up to the snowy mountain tops and wondered where the ridgeline was, because the third day is a day to go to the ridgeline. Little I knew that those snowy tops were the very ones I was going to climb up to that day. The long climb has culminated in reaching a monument that commemorates Quentin McKinnon's contribution to the exploration of Fiordland's area. It also felt like a special Christmas gift that it started snowing upon reaching the ridgeline of the Milford Sound track. I did not expect the snow in the middle of summer on the elevation of just above 1000 meters, so I was quite surprised and breathtaking. That was also the point when I realized why Milford Sound track is called the finest walk on the planet. Apart from an unbelievable view, I was also very deeply moved to discover another very special feature of the Milford Track. So that's a candidate for the best toilet in New Zealand I've seen so far at the McKinnon Pass. I reckon that you'll have the best experience ever using this facility, because as you open the door and look out, you see that. And can you see it again? It snows. Beautiful, isn't it? And there's the shelter. By the way, that's the 4th shelter built in this spot because the high winds tend to blow it away from time to time. Now what you're going to see next is the descent from the McKinnon's Pass that follows the series of the Cascadian waterfalls / a river. I have filmed some of the stairs and some of the waterfalls, though there are much more than an eye can meet. After that, I had to follow an emergency track down the hut because the main track was closed due to the destruction caused by some recent storms and avalanche danger. Because apparently, as it happens the whole year around, including summer, Milford Track is prone to avalanches. Emergency track itself didn't get filmed because it was ridiculously steep and dangerous to walk. But after finishing it, I walked to the intersection to go to the sidetrack to see Southern Falls and a historic beach hut. Would highly recommend to visit both of them, even if you're very tired, because you don't have to go all the way to the Southern Falls to see them. And the hut itself was fantastic and very interesting to see, because that's not what you would expect to see from the old hut. Also, I came across this beautiful black weka bird that I couldn't help filming. I shall warn you though that wekas are extremely naughty and are very infamous for stealing your breakfast or anything really, and they run through their forest tussock much faster than you do. So day 3 of Milford Track allows you to take a sidewalk to see the highest waterfalls in New Zealand that are 550 meters tall, which is as impressive as it sounds, and you can go to the very bottom of the waterfall and actually touch the water of it, which I think is rather cool. On the last day I walked past a big sleep, but other than that, landscape was rather unremarkable, apart from some of the waterfalls. Admittedly, there are only as many waterfalls as you can see before you lose much of an interest about them. They are all spectacular and amazing and breathtaking, and watercolor is as unbelievable as you can imagine. But after seeing around 50 or 100 or 1000 of them in the course of 4 days, you get a little bit disinterested in climbing the stairs and all of the sidewalks towards them. So Milford Track is not the most beautiful walk by my standard, because there is not as much variety as you might wish. Next to that waterfall though, there is a bell rock with a cavity that you can climb under. The rumors are you can fit under 18 people there, so check it out. The last day brings you to the last marker of 33 miles in a sandfly point, which once used to be an island. The beautiful Maori legend says that the Maori goddess of death released the sandflies onto people on that same very spot, so that people do not get bewildered and bewitched by the beauty of this place and don't stay here for too long. So I caught a ferry to arrive to Milford Sound Terminal to catch a bus that will take me to the divide shelter of the ROUTEBURN track. And this is how the 4-day journey across Milford Track looked like, and the experiences I got to. See you in the next videos.